Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Yeah, what's that mission here? Just surviving it. Yep, we're going to survive. And the best way to do that is know what's coming. Well, you know what I did? I was looking at this and I'm going, oh, it wasn't 2010 January. I started at 2009. Yeah, that's right. You know, because I was looking at, I remember what I was thinking. I was at the beginning of the end of the Bush administration going into the Obama administration. So we had the, we're going to be covering this today just in the first couple of weeks, then the transition from the Bush to Obama administration and see how this has played out in his first half of his first term. So let's go ahead and go to this. I want to show you those online when you look at this. You go to Freedom's Phoenix, and at the top you'll see a horizontal navigation bar underneath the first banner ad up there. And it says front page, page 2, archives. When you do archives, it has a drop down and you do contents listed by subject and anything like economy, housing. You go there and you can look at a particular category that we put stuff in, and you can follow housing from the beginning. You know, those interested in things like conspiracies or North American Union or archaeology or anthropology or anything like that. From the first time that we hear something that's going to be in the news, we will go and create a category for it, and we'll put out like the oil spill in the Gulf. It has its own category. So we track everything through that. It's a great resource. Now, also under archives, the third one down, it says newsletter archive. Now, when you go there, it has, in case you miss something or you're on the road, you're not near your email, anywhere online, you can go to get that day's dispatch, anything that you missed. You just click on the date. We had the AM and the PM version. Well, what I did is I went to the beginning, right at the end, the transition from the Bush administration to the Obama administration. I forgot that was 09. Yep, I was busy. So you go in and we just start going through these. I'm just going to, just read off some of the things that were starting. You can think, how many of these have become commonplace now? How many of these things are in place? And how many were, Led Zeppelins that they put up and, they didn't fly? Well, we'll see. Government pipe dreams on internet ratings doomed to fail. Proposal by United Kingdom Cultural Secretary to introduce cinema-style ratings for websites across the globe might benefit from a little more fact-finding, a little less rhetoric. What they wanted to do is they wanted to, rate your website. And who gets to do that? And then what kind of access do you get to people's computers based on that rating? Oh, not good. Cash-strapped states weigh selling roads and parks. Minnesota is deep in the hole financially. Keep in mind, this is 2 years ago. Keep in mind that this happened in Arizona. They sold all of the state buildings. The state capitol, the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court building, and now they lease them back from private investors. Minnesota is deep in the hole financially, but the state still owns a premier golf resort, a sprawling amateur sports complex, a big airport, a major zoo, blah, blah, blah. Here they may sell Sky Harbor. Cool. Whatever. U.S. stocks suffer worst year since Great Depression. Yep. So shocked. Iceland's political leaders forced from the airwaves by angry citizens. A nationally televised meeting between Iceland's prime minister and other political leaders was forced off the air Wednesday night when angry protesters disrupted the broadcast. And then they wrote a new constitution. They said, we're not taking on this debt. We're not indebting the people. We're going to let them vote on it. And they said, nope. And they, picked some names out of a phone book, and they're writing a new constitution right now. I mean, we're going to be doing some, getting some details on what's really going on there. Government bailout of U.S. newspapers. Smelling the fascism yet? Connecticut lawmaker Frank Nicastro seeks saving the local newspaper as his duty. But others think he and his colleagues are setting a worrisome precedent for government involvement in the U.S. press. But it doesn't stop him for asking. I remember Harry Flint from Hustler magazine goes, hey, man, if they get it, I want to bail out too. The only juice left in the Republican Party is the Ron Paul revolution. The talking heads are are offering up their talking points about the chosen CFR candidates, Council on Foreign Relations, like software being downloaded to a computer. But things get slightly off script when Katrina Vanden Heuvel, editor of The Nation, says the only juice left in the Republican Party is the Ron Paul revolution. Well, we'll see how that works out in this next election cycle. But, man, I tell you, it's I don't know what else the Republicans are going to do. We'll find out. Plate frames to be photo enforced. And now we're talking about frames around your license plate. This is a big thing here in Arizona, even, beginning of the decade. I remember the Scottsdale police were going around and pulling people over and taking out their screwdrivers and removing any kind of covering that went over. These anti-photo radar flashing things that would white it out and so on. They were just removing private property, and people were suing. It was getting all kinds of nasty. DHS randomly stopping Amtrak trains and searching passengers nowhere near the border. Now, this is the 4th of January in 2000 and, it says 8 here. I think it was 2009. Former President Bush touts his son, Jeb, for president. Asking a broadcast interview about Jeb's consideration for the Senate seat, Bush 41 said, I'd like to see him run. I'd like to see him run for president someday. Man, is it ever going to stop? 44 states face huge budget shortfalls beginning of 2009. The California 2010 deficit is now projected to be $25 billion, a whopping 28.8% of the fiscal year 2009 general budget. Now, this is, what is it now? I mean, it's more than that. $25 billion? I think it's at least, twice that, maybe 3 times that. This is, no matter what they say, you just multiply it. Bank of England interest rates may sink the lowest since 1694. The radical move is regarded as essential if the UK is to stand any chance of avoiding slipping into a Japan-style depression. Heck, that's what causes it. This is, I'm just reading them. Israeli troops advance, bisecting Gaza. Now, this is, Israel, and you don't hear enough about what is going on between the United States and Israel and how they're part of the occupation of the occupied territories there. It's going to bubble over. I don't know where this is going. And later on we see where even Dr. Paul was coming out talking about how Hamas was the product of Israeli intelligence. They created this, controlled opposition, and it got out of control. Obama considering expanding jobless benefits. Well, that's been going on since his entire administration. They just keep extending the unemployment benefits. What happens when that stops? Sooner or later it will, by inflation or some other means. Chicago Fed. Evans says Fed needs to mimic below zero rates. The process often involves buying up large quantities of assets from banks, such as the Fed's latest program to buy mortgage-backed securities. They're kicking the can. SEC chief, Securities Exchange Commission chief, claims regret over short selling ban. Now, I remember when they did this. Beginning of 2009 or end of 2008, they imposed a temporary ban under intense pressure from the Federal Reserve and the Treasury Department, where they said, we're just going to stop short selling. You can't do that anymore. Yeah, we know it's going down. That's why you can't benefit from it. Oh, what did they know? It's all going down. We'll just go through these real quick. Just give you an idea of what we've known from the beginning of the Obama administration to now. And this is just the first 2 weeks of 2009.